Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final 9 of the 2023 Halloween Classic presented by Legacy Disc. Jacob Courtis opened the tournament with a scorching 13 under. He's been trying to maintain that lead, but Parker Welck is closest to him at the moment with just 9 holes left to play. Seen some struggles coming out of both Cam Messerschmidt and Aaron Gossage. Maybe they can turn things around on the back. We say we got a couple horses in the race here over at Sigma Derby. Absolutely a must-hit game if you head on down to Fremont Street. It's the only one remaining in the country. It's down at the D. It's turned on to that game by a fellow disc golfer a couple years ago. Cupcake going big on the roller. Gets caught up by a late tree, but what a shot. Messerschmidt off to the left side. Should make for a relatively easy up and down from there. He should be trying to hunt down a birdie. Welck, big power forehand, but too low. And at this point, we've seen some frustration out of Gossage. He's been very, very self-contained, maintaining composure, but you can assume he's just boiling from the inside in frustration. Has not had a good front 9. It's going to be a long-range look for Welck. Good control there for Gossage. On the dance floor, trying to pick up birdie. Hole 10 during this final round, playing as the easiest hole relative to par along with hole 6. Both of them averaged 0.26 below par. So this is cupcake for an eagle look. And it's just off the front of the cage. Currently has a 3-stroke lead over Welck. But Welck not able to capitalize on his birdie look. So in theory, the lead should grow for Courtis. Messerschmidt not able to convert from circle 2. I think he had asked the group if that was in fact in circle 2 as we see Gossage pick up a birdie. And the group seem almost undecided or indecisive a little bit as to if he was outside of the circle. So it brings up an interesting question as to exactly where's ultimately the onus. As you, it's great practice to ask the group if you feel like you're close to the circle or not. But then ultimately the call has to get made, and then you have to decide if you're going to go after the jump putt, and kind of an interesting scenario. For the third day in a row, I'll call this the bonus birdie if somebody can get it. 425 feet. Very few birdies have been given up here on hole number 11 over the first 2 days. Well, Gossage is trying to change the stat. And that's going to come up short, but still a look. I mean, it feels like you have a look from about everywhere on this hole, but you're always dealing with some significant wind. And is your look from 32 or 52? And that looks like it's going to be inside the circle. So see if Parker's got opportunity here, possibly pick one up on Cupcake. Not clean, but not exactly punishing either. Messerschmidt. NBD. It's another deep circle 2 or mid-range circle 2 connection for him. And Parker not able to convert. So Parker had the opportunity to get back within 3. And isn't able to take advantage. And Gossage continues to struggle here from inside the circle. So he's not going to take advantage of the birdie. And when it was all said and done, I'm pretty sure that Messerschmidt was the lone birdie here in round 3 out of all competitors. What's Ian Anderson say? Strokes on folks? Seems like the line there. I so eloquently spit it out.
Turn all the way. Turn all the way.
Messerschmidt asking for a little help, but doesn't get it to turn enough. And in round 2, we saw the wind push this hard right for a couple of our competitors. Well, there's my peeps at Southwest. Good to see them. Gossage pushing right side, but checks back up. So he's almost to pin high. Now, we've seen Gossage a combined 12 feet, I feel like, on this hole in rounds 1 and 2. So he's going to have to make an actual putt today. The other ones have been tap-ins, and that push is way right. Doesn't have time to come back, and that's going to be out of bounds. So Parker looks to be losing more ground to Cupcake. Oh, and a bid by Messerschmidt right off the top. It was beyond all circles as Welck. Enough work to actually take a little bit of a run up here, trying to fight that crosswind. And there was nothing shy about the effort there from Jacob. Similarly, we see Parker go up and over. Parker, though, coming from a totally different direction, so it just feels like the wind is taking everything anywhere. Completely inconsistent. And Gossage will pick the par back up. After hitting off the top of the basket, we see Messerschmidt come back for the par. As I said, Jake Brown doing some work on the chase card. He's going to be right in that territory of where both Gossage and Messerschmidt is. In fact, I think he's, at the moment, just past them. And the aggressive bid turns out to be a bogey. So just when Jake had basically an extra stroke to put in his pocket over his closest competitor, he instead has the 3-putt, and he remains 4 out in front. Great low line drive, trying to avoid the OB there on the left side as I try to pan over toward the pin, but just trying to avoid the parking lot. He could push it a little bit closer. Gossage is going big. Players given the opportunity to the tee to the left of this pad due to the pad being a little bit slick. So they put down a white marker there, and rounds 2 and 3, players are able to go off to this left side if they wish. See my boy Manny out there working catch cam. Big, huge help throughout the weekend. I appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, he's just going to launch it up there and ride some wind. And that will give him somewhere out in circle 2. And you must go to the right of the pole that we just saw there by Gossage. That's actually a Mando pole. And Gossage correctly navigating to the right of it without a problem. You can also see it here. And not a problem for Messerschmidt in terms of the pole, but it's a favorable roll at least. Ooh, and close to getting curbed, so to speak. He's going to be safe and have a look for birdie. So here's Gossage. And Jacob here going through his routine. And it was at that point, although I did trim it, it was at that point that Gossage came up to him and said, I have to call you on that. And so Gossage gave him an official warning for exceeding the time limit. It was roughly 50 to 55 seconds when it was all said and done. And so with that, Jacob very much says, okay, sounds good. He's taken the official warning. Now, they do just have, 6 or so holes left to play. 5 or 6 holes. But now there's official warning on the card. We see some pars, and they'll cross the street over to 14. Big thanks to our friends at Distinguished Doodle. Make sure you check them out.
No, hit that. Hit that. Hit something. Hit something.
And that pushes right side and just barely carries over the line. That's going to be out of bounds for Messerschmidt. This plays a standard OB.
Is that me?
325 feet. Plays on the easier side. In fact, 4th easiest hole for our competitors here during round number 3. And the forehand looks so easy and effortless. However, it's deep. About a disc width away, and that's going to be out of bounds. He'll be able to take it from there. Should be a very easy drop-in par, but Cupcake looking at a par at best as Messerschmidt draws some metal. So bogey coming for Cam. He's been fighting back and forth with even par throughout the entire round. So Parker, opportunity to pick up a stroke. And he's going to do just that. At least one stroke. That's, of course, assuming that Cupcake converts. Gossage comes back with the par save. He's 1 under for the round. So Cupcake will pick up the par. He's going to remain 2 ahead of Welck with that par. Sounds like a good time to take a little jerky break, if you ask me, though.
I started playing disc golf with my family when I was 8 years old. When I was 16, I got my first job as a cook at a bowling alley, and that's when I made my first batch of beef jerky. As I got better at throwing, I also got better at making beef jerky. Everyone told me they loved my jerky. After 15 years of making my beef jerky as a hobby, I decided to make it available to everyone. Double G Craft Jerky. Give it a try. You're gonna love it.
Wait a minute. He said as he got better at throwing, he got better at making jerky. What if you do it in the reverse? What if you become a better cook or chef? Will that make you a better golfer? I don't know, but that is just deep by a few feet, out of bounds for Parker, and that one much more punishing. This is treated as an island. And so with that, Parker will go all the way back to the drop zone, as will Aaron Gossage. And the drop zone here is kind of a kiss of death. It's 40, maybe 45 feet, but then that very same OB comes into play if you're too aggressive. Cupcake's going to come up short. Certainly the safer option. Can't come up too short, of course. You have to get past the OB flags, and then Messerschmidt isn't Messerschmitting around. I don't know if that makes sense, but get a little punchy after 3 rounds of solo commentary, I'm not going to lie. Like I said, just tough to run at that putt, knowing the same OB is 12 feet behind. So Cupcake, huge opportunity to pick up 2 strokes on his closest competitor. He's going to move to 28. Parker will fall back to 24 with a bogey. And the sun just didn't want to let Messerschmidt have any of the spotlight there. But as he taps in for the easy birdie. And Gossage had also went on to tap in for his bogey. Just 3 holes left to play. Cupcake has more breathing room. He's sitting 4 ahead of Parker, and he's just playing for position here. Hole 16, the most difficult hole on the course. Very stingy in giving up the birdies, so to speak. And plenty of players just really playing for position. Lots of OB surrounding the basket, just short of it. Gossage tried to go after it in round number 1, got hung up, but still escaped with the par. Today, the crowd loves that he's getting aggressive. Oh, and he's getting after it. Gossage parked next to the pin on 16. Messerschmidt was hoping the basket would get in his way. A little forehand. Left a little on it, but you certainly don't want to come up short. Cupcake with an opportunity just to putt it across. And it drops down for him, so par should be in store for him. Parker, 4 behind Cupcake. Gossage. No, from tap-in range, off the front of the pin. Doesn't collect the birdie from inside 10 feet. What are we seeing? The struggles here by Gossage today. Meanwhile, Cupcake trying to close out. Remember, a few holes ago, he was in fact warned in an official capacity. Now he's sitting on this 4-stroke lead between him and Parker Welck, thinking, man, the next time you exceed that 30 seconds, the stroke just gets added to the card. Certainly some tense moments, and again, if you had a stopwatch out there, I think you would you'd be staring at it. Meanwhile, he's got a 4-stroke lead heading into 17. Peers the gap almost perfectly with the forehand. He's gone deep. That's going to give him a wide open look. And most importantly, he didn't get hung up early, and he didn't find the OB on the right side. Those are the two normal mistakes you could make here. And not exactly a favorable skip, but still in range there for Messerschmidt.
Good shot, Parker. Oh, bucket.
Welck goes deep and just barely checks up. Right on the edge. And speaking of the edge, this tee-pad placement seemed to really challenge a few of our players. And it feels weird coming off the sidewalk and then going onto the grass. That's exactly the frustration that Gossage was having. And it wasn't just this round. I'd love to see either that, yeah, basically that tee moved up an extra 5 or 10 feet. Just so that it's not kind of that awkward, different set of footing. Wouldn't really change too much now. He converts on the birdie. Welck not able to convert on his birdie luck. And that may be officially sealing the deal. You're looking at a 5-stroke advantage. You have some OB on hole number 18 and an elevated basket. But with what we've been seeing out of Cupcake in terms of him fighting any kind of win out here, certainly no problems with the power. And now Welck isn't going to make the comebacker. So that feels like that's officially done. Game, set, match, maybe. Done and over, game, set, match. Anything's possible. We are in Vegas, and we know about Vegas odds, but not looking good. You could look good for your dog. Your dog could look good if you went out and got some Distinguished Doodle action. I believe I can offer up a 20% discount code. And just like that, Courtis on the dance floor. He's in layup territory to walk this one home. You walk it in to bring it home. Did I mix a couple of cliches together there? Again, it's been a long weekend, folks. Like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things as we're going to start closing out. I really appreciate you guys. I said it earlier that if I hit 100,000 subs, I'm going to look at, from that point, I'm going to rewind 2 months, and anyone that had been supporting me on Patreon for 2 months or more is going to get a commemorative disc for free. I'm just going to reach out to you, get your address, and send you a disc if you've been supporting me on Patreon. And I'm more than happy to do so because I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. But leave a comment. Tell me what you loved about the tournament or didn't love. And we're excited to close out as victory formation, so to speak, for Cupcake. Cam Messerschmidt has won this in the past. And Parker and Gossage looking to close out. We also know that Jake Brown did some work, so he's trying to fight into a possible podium position. But Parker, even with that, will maintain a second-place finish. Messerschmidt is going to close out potentially with a birdie, and that would be the difference between him and Jake Brown. Messerschmidt birdied 3 out of the last 4 in round 2, and now is looking to birdie 3 out of the last 4 in the final round. And he's going to do that, and that will secure a third-place solo position. Gossage will finish in a tie for 5th with Chris Pinniger. And I catch up with our champion in Jacob Cupcake Courtis after he taps in. Thanks for watching. Stick around for an interview. Congratulations to our champion, and thanks to the club, along with our TD, Sam.
Our MPO winner for the 2023 Halloween Classic, Jacob Courtis!
I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and that was my video blog. A long weekend out here in Las Vegas, but we have our champion, Jacob Courtis. Man, it was a battle, and today the wind decided to go up an extra 4 to 20 notches.
Yep.
What was the game plan going into the final round?
You know, I bag a lot of stable stuff, so we got to pull those out when it gets windy. So just trusted on those, relied on those, and you know, we came out.
No problem with the beef, so to speak. So at one point during this round, it looked like it really just became a two-man race. Were you paying attention to the scores where you were relative to Parker or anyone else on the card?
I started to check scores kind of like in the middle. I knew we were kind of going toe-to-toe there in the beginning. I knew I pulled one on him on hole 1, and then it kind of shuffled a little bit, but I knew I was kind of majority of the round, if not all of the round.
What does it mean as we're starting to close out 2023? What does it mean for you to pick up a win here in Vegas, a beach here against some pretty solid players on a difficult course? What's that mean to you?
Oh, it's great. Just finishing out the season strong, you know. I started out the season really good, but, you know, I had some putting difficulties, as you guys may know. I mean, I'm still battling through it. It's not perfect, but, you know, it's getting down slimmer and slimmer every time. So this is probably the hardest year I've been through mentally, just because of that. You know, it's hard to get past your head in this game because it is such a mental sport. So once you know, we're just trying to improve every day.
Yeah, and you know, as you brought it up, there was at one point during even this final round where you were given a courtesy warning, I believe, near the end of the round. How do you react? How do you internally feel when something like that happens?
No, it's fine to me. We're playing the game. We're all playing the same game. We should play by the same rules. I even thanked Aaron, hey, thank you. Most people wouldn't call that, you know. So, I mean, it is what it is. I need to hurry it up. That's the bottom line. I know I'm taking long. I can feel my legs start to burn. I was a normal, quick, fast player. I was 15 seconds, and then, you know, little putting yips, and we got stuck in a hole. But we're trying to come out of it.
All right, so hopefully that'll be the big improvement for 2024.
Yeah.
You clearly got more than enough power. You clearly know what you need to do on the course. It's just a matter of picking up on the speed.
Yep.
All right, well, he's going to speed out of 2023 with a win here in Las Vegas. It was incredible to be here. Big shout out to Manny, who was out there working cameras this week, doing more work than he probably even knew he signed up for. Sam and Steve and the rest of the crew, everybody else here, and all of the Las Vegas Disc Golf Club, all of the support, all of the love. Jacob Courtis, your champion here in Las Vegas. We'll see you at the next one.
Thank you, Terry.
Nice work, man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.